What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. So, a quick post-fight review for Alen Babic versus Steve Robinson. Now, first thing I want you to remember is this opinion is the opinion from a complete stranger online, and you should always be responsible when participating in the markets. So, I feel a bit under the weather today. One of them ones where I'm going to drag myself into work and hopefully get through it. Let's see. But anyway, I want to feel like I've been productive. So I'm going to make a video before I go into work because that's how I like to roll. Anyway, so if you remember my last video, I recommended the play of not even caring if Alen Babic or Steve Robinson won the fight. I simply recommended that you place the bet to see that the fight did not go the distance. Place a bet that the fight would not go the distance. And lo and behold, the fight did not go the distance. And therefore, if like myself, you placed a bet for the fight not to go the distance, your quid's in and you walk away with profit. The fact of the matter is, Steve Robinson is a puncher. He was losing convincingly against Campbell, and he pulled it out of the bag with his power. He is a strong 6'7", big, muscular puncher. Now, some would argue he can't do much else, but he can punch. Alen Babic, now, while I don't think he's a monstrous puncher, he fights like a puncher. And sometimes when you fight like a puncher, a bit like Evander Holyfield, a bit like Conor Benn, fake it till you make it, right? If you're putting yourself in the position to score knockouts, then the chances are you're going to score some knockouts. So Alen Babic, all the fights that he's won, I believe, he's won all of them by knockout bar one. Steve Robinson can really whack. Both of them are crude. Both of them lack sophistication and skill. And therefore, when I was looking at the analysis of this fight, I only saw one sensible bet to place, and that was the bet for the fight not to go the distance. Now, I believe the fight was scheduled for 10. There's no way that two hittable guys who can both punch are going to go the distance, most likely. And it played out that way. Steve Robinson really was unable to keep the fight at a distance. I didn't think he would be able to keep the fight at a distance. Steve Robinson has the coordination to attack, but not the coordination to defend. And it's really, really strange. You see certain fighters with certain characteristics, and boxing's really interesting. Because it's almost like a representation of life. In life, sometimes you get knocked down, but you got to get back up. Sometimes in life, things just keep coming at you and coming at you and coming at you, and you got to keep going. You know, when I'm in that boxing ring, I've had some bouts myself. I want to stop because I'm tired, but my opponent's trying to take my head off. Sometimes things happen to you at the wrong time. You know, I was boxing, you know, my shoulder came out when I was boxing. Like, that wasn't the right time, but guess what? I carried on. So boxing's really almost like a illustration of life. And Steve Robinson seems to be a guy who knows how to attack, but doesn't know how to defend. And you get people like that who are really good on the offensive in life, but when it comes to defending and you know, maintaining, they can't do it. And you got people in life who can make money, but they can't hold on to it. But anyway, I digress. Steve Robinson, great at attacking, but cannot defend. Therefore, I didn't think that he was going to be able to keep Babic at a distance. And he wasn't. He was closed down, which forced him into a fight. When you see a 6'7" guy and a 6'2" or 6'3" guy, Alen Babic, it's clear the 6'7" guy needs to keep it at a distance, but he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Therefore, Alen Babic was able to close the distance. Therefore, Steve Robinson was forced to fight. And because Steve Robinson is very hittable, he was getting tagged up. Now, he did land on Alen Babic, But this is Babic's fight. Now, I wanted to know if Babic would be able to recover from the Ryzansky defeat. I don't think this fight's too telling on that. Steve Robinson can punch, but when you've got long arms and the distance is closed on you, it can be hard to get that leverage. So Steve Robinson, whilst he can punch, if you've got 79, 80-inch reach and you're forced to fight at close quarters, most likely you're not going to be able to get the leverage to generate that power. So Alen Babic with the shorter arms was able to generate power. Now, Steve Robinson did show the chin. To be honest, I think he has a chin, but he's just that chin is, it doesn't matter how good your chin is, eventually you will be knocked out, because if your defense is terrible. Boxing's a dangerous game. People who haven't boxed before might not appreciate it. And I'm not having to dig anyone who hasn't boxed. You need to know what you're doing to at least some degree before you get in that ring. Steve Robinson, there's so many gaps in his defense that despite the fact that he does look to have a chin, I worry for him going forward. He could pick up some real damage. But Alen Babic, I don't think we can definitively say he's back in the way he was before, because I don't think that fight pushed him to that extent. But from a gambler's perspective, when we're looking at it, we don't always, this is in the truest sense an example of where it doesn't actually always matter who wins the fight. We as gamblers are not placing bets on who wins. We're placing bets on outcomes. And if you listen to me, if you took my advice on board whilst making your own decision in the market, and you placed a bet on the fight simply not to go the distance, you sat back with a bottle of wine, and whoever won, you knew you were going to rake in the profit. And that's what happened. Anyway, what do you guys make of what happened in that fight? What do you guys make of the outcome? Let me know. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when I make a new video. If you appreciate my work and want to leave a donation, there's a link for that in the description. That allows me to spend more time on this. And with that, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one.